Hey guys, Harrison One back once again with a brand new video for you, and welcome to episode 3 of our Dre Plays for MotoGP 15. And on the last episode, well, some interesting things happened, to say the least. There was 2 photo finishes for the win in the first 2 rounds. Both of them Danny Kent got screwed in, and for some reason the time penalty I got in Qatar was glitched. And the game says on the screen there that I finished in 6th, but I actually only got points credited up to 8th because Masbu and I think it was Efren Vasquez was within half a second of me apparently, which was delightful news. So yeah, I've already kind of been screwed out of an extra 2 points, which is kind of annoying, but I am currently 4th in the championship standings, which isn't a bad thing at all. Definitely punching above my weight, so to speak. As you can see, Fabio Quartararo leads the championship with 41 points. Ahead of Danny Kent with 40, even though Danny Kent really should have 50. Vasquez 38, and then me with 24. Also, my Mahindra privateer team is now joint 2nd in the Constructors' Championship with KTM, which is also quite cool to see. Lorenzo and Rossi, 45 points each so far. So the Yamahas have got both wins so far. That's I guess that's realistic, I suppose. So, last time out, we got our first podium with Mahindra. Let's see if we can build on that momentum as we head to round 3, and that's Argentina. Whoops, I only just realized, I said this on Twitter, that I thought it was Jerez next, and I just completely forgot about Argentina. To be fair, it's only been back on the calendar for 2 years now. It's the 2nd season we've gone to Argentina. And I actually quite like the track as it goes, so, you know, I don't know what will happen around here. It's a track that's got a little bit of everything on it as a track. There's one massive straight going into Sector 2, but there's not an awful lot going for it, really. There's a fair bit of undulation as well, actually, and it's produced 2 really good Moto3 races so far. Well, when I say really good, it's kind of weird because in the real-life race in Argentina in Moto3 last season, it was kind of a weird situation where Danny Kent broke off, and then Danny Kent won the race by about 10 seconds, which is unheard of for a Moto3 race. That just doesn't happen. And there was an enormous scrap for second instead, which is really weird. So, I asked you guys in the comments to talk about certain topics you wanted me to talk about on video, and I thought I'd be happy to oblige. And I can't remember exactly who wrote these out because I didn't check the comments before this, but I'm going off of memory here. I'm sure I'll post a link to their comment on the video somewhere after I edit this. But somebody asked me to talk about Ducati's turnaround, and yeah, this is a big one because Ducati have long been the subject of ridicule in MotoGP for maybe 2 or 3 years, because we all know they burst up on the scene in 2007 when Casey Stoner took that factory seat and then rode the nuts off of it to win his first MotoGP championship, beating a prime Valentino Rossi to do it. And just the shock of how fast that Ducati was in a straight line, it was insane to see just how fast that it had gotten as a bike, and how it completely caught out everybody, which was a real shocker. And then they were never really the same after that. Like, the rest of the field caught up. Valentino Rossi would go on to win another 2 championships before heading to Ducati himself in 2010. But it's one of those. It's a really, really strange one. And this year Ducati clearly have gotten a bit stronger. Their new 2015 GP15 bike is really, really good. I was very, very impressed when they rolled up at round 1 in Qatar, and they pushed Valentino Rossi for the win really, really hard. Just going to concentrate a little bit for this first corner. There we go. Have to get that inside line in. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's like they're not quite there yet, Ducati, in that sense. Like, they're not quite where they need to be challenging for wins, and the concession system will help them out in that. Oh, sorry, the Violoy. 0.900 for the second penalty. Okay, we can live with that. Oh, don't tell me I put my gear in too low. I'm about to bounce off the limiter here. I did hit the limiter. Shit. Okay. That's not too bad. But yeah, like I said, like, the winglets on the bike looks very small as well. Like, I'm surprised just how small the thing is as well. It's a completely redesigned bike, and it seems to have worked quite well. They're not quite there at every circuit in that regard. Oh god, I'm struggling here. They're not quite, you know, like I said, they're not quite, you know, there at every circuit. Like Jerez, they struggled, and Catalonia, they said themselves they weren't going to be particularly strong, and, you know, Dovi binned it, but, you know, and he still finished 4th in a pretty solid result. And, you know, but compared to where they were like 2 years ago, where they were like 45 seconds off the win and fighting for like minor like midfield points, they've come such a long way. And, you know, the concessions will still help them out with with things like tyres and qualifying and whatnot. So, you know, there's a real chance that, you know, they can still get up there down the road somewhere. So, you know, props to Ducati in that regard. The GP15 is a really solid bike, and I hope they can build on that for the future. They're not quite there yet. I mean, like I said, the Yamaha is still, I think, has been the best bike this season, mostly because it's you know, the seamless downshift, like I said in the last episode, and the fact that Marquez is struggling with a 2015 Honda, and, you know, they've gone back to the hybrid chassis of having a 2014 chassis with a 2015 engine and swing arm. It's not perfect by any stretch, but, you know, you got to make it work. Oh, John McPhee's crashed from 13th. See, I told you about more random crashes. There's a lot of medium-length straights on this track, and I'm just realising this now in the context of Moto 3. So, oh, McPhee's down again. That's unlucky. There's a lot of medium straights in. I think that's where I'm suffering a little bit here. Struggling to even get in the points right now. I think somebody else asked me, I think it was James White who asked me about the Espargaro brothers as well. Talking about how they've developed. And yeah, that's another very interesting case, in the sense of, because, like, Paul Espargaro seems to be like the guy, like the silver spoon kind of guy, in the sense of, like, he's had everything kind of handed to him on a plate, so to speak. Maybe not to that extreme, but, you know, he's one of those guys that's had a lot of things thrown his way. I mean, he went to the Pons team when he was in Moto 2, the best Moto 2 team out there at the time. It was a super team because they had him, and they had Tito Rabat, and, you know, look what happened to him a year later. You know, once Redding and Pole are out of the way, you know, look what happened to him. Ends up being a world champion himself, just like Pole did. And, you know, Pole goes into Tech 3. He has a factory-backed Yamaha contract there. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Pole Espargaro is the Valentino Rossi replacement. Whoa! Lost it there. Come on, I've got to get at least points here. But like I was saying, like, on the other side of the coin, Alicia Spargaro's never had top-tier equipment in MotoGP or in any category he's ever taken part in. Most of his MotoGP career was with the Aspar team, and the Aspar team, you know, was the best of the CRT teams, the claiming rules teams that were basically building their bikes using other people's leftovers. It was cheap, but it didn't mean they were particularly competitive. But Espargaro would always punch above his weight on said bikes. So I think that's always what made Espargaro look a little bit better than what he was because he was doing so well on a CRT. And I think he's a double CRT world champion in that regard as well. So, because you know they do have props to the open class and whatnot. I'm really going to finish in 16th place. Jesus Christ. Just wasn't very fast around here. Yeah, well. Not a good day at the office there, but not much I really could have done about that one. Oh my god, another photo finish. Come on, game. This is a bit ridiculous now. Oliveira beating Quartararo by a grand total of 0. Danny Kent 3rd, Vasquez 4th, Isaac Vinales in the top 5. Well, I got my setup wrong in Argentina and that kind of hurt me a little bit there. And now Oliveira's jumped up to 4th and I'm down to 8th in the championship ahead of... I'm behind Hanukkah, for God's sake. Can't have that. I hate Hanukkah. Dirty, Jerez cheating bastard. But what I will say, though, is that I'm very glad that people are starting to give Aleix Espargaro his due now of Suzuki, and a bike that, you know, can definitely shock some people with the headlines like their pole position and their 1-2 that Suzuki got in qualifying in Catalunya before Espargaro dropped it from 4th, and that would have been an incredible result for Suzuki. You know, he deserves a chance like this, a chance to headline a factory team, and Suzuki will get better, I'm sure of that. It's a shame they haven't got the power to compete with the top level factory bikes yet, but you know, on the whole, Aleix is a very, very, very good rider. He's the only guy to ever get on the podium with an open class bike, and he's intelligent, he's smart, and you know, he makes it work. Right, here's a situation. You can tell your personal manager to which team or sponsor you're interested in. Your manager will do what he can to secure a contract. Okay. The Red Bull KTM team are interested. Or I can go with Team Oakley. No Moto2 seats on offer just yet, obviously. So do I take a factory seat or do I continue with my privateer team but get the maximum sponsor rewards? I think we can do that. Let's go with Team Oakley as a sponsor, as my favourite. And let's see if we can get a top tier sponsorship instead. It'll probably be a little bit more difficult for me that way as well, in the sense of, you know, I can actually think about, you know, not just jumping into the best Moto3 bike available and then just, you know, dominating the championship, which I probably could do if I'm on the best machinery. But yeah, let's go to Jerez next. Now, for those guys that don't know, Jerez is one of my least favourite tracks on the calendar, like I said, and like, I don't like the track, but I am pretty good around it, so I guarantee you I'm going to do better than 16th. I don't know what happened to me in that race. I just didn't have the pace. I think the AI were just very, very fast around there. I don't know what happened to me on that one. I don't think I rode particularly badly. I just feel like it just didn't quite come together on that one. Now, from what I remember as well, you get your first contract offer or offers to change teams after Mugello, which will be at the end of the next episode. So, tomorrow, who knows what could happen. But right, let's head over to Jerez. I mean, finishing 16th in context isn't that bad, because the objective is 15th, just score points. And Mahindra is the worst bike in the field when it comes to Moto3, so, like, it isn't that bad, but given how good I was in the last episode, I was annoyed that I came in 16th there, so a little bit frustrating, but nothing too bad, just, you know, kind of a derp result, really. Hopefully it'll work out a bit better in that regard. But yeah, feel free to keep sending in questions you guys want to ask me on these MotoGP, Moto2, or Moto3 stuff. Again, maybe even World Superbikes I don't mind talking about as well if you're into that too. If you want to ask me some stuff and for it to feature in a future episode, feel free to get in touch. I'd love to be able to talk about it more during races, because I'm lucky that I can do that. I can kind of multitask in that regard. Who needs estrogen to be able to do that anyway? But yeah, let's go to Jerez. Again, another pretty thrilling race here in Moto3 for real earlier this season. With, I think it was a race where it was Miguel Oliveira, Danny Kent, Fabio Quartararo, and I can't remember the other guy who was involved in that, but it was a very, very good race. And Quartararo, I'm pretty sure, tried that famous last corner dive bomb attempt on Danny Kent. Didn't get it and ended up finishing down in 4th. I was like, yeah, karma, that's what you get. Which I thought was very funny, but yeah, Danny Kent would go on to win by a 10th. And one of his, I think, 4 races he's already won this season. 4 out of 8. It's a pretty good track record, and yeah, Kent going on to dominate the championship right now. Props to him in that regard. He's doing a fantastic job, Danny Kent, and I've been astonished at how much he's improved in the space of just a year. Like, Kent was good last year. Don't get me wrong. He was riding that Espargaro, which, you know, is kind of like a Honda, but kind of like a KTM, but not really. So you know, he was good last year. He nearly won a race. He was in that leading pack on many occasions at the second half of last season. But, you know, this year with Leopard, he's done such an astonishing job of just taking control of that team and just dominating the championship. He's already got a 57-point lead as we come towards the halfway point in the season at the Sachsenring this weekend. So if he can keep this going, you know, he could have one of the dominant Moto3 seasons of our time. And whoa, someone's taking a big drop. I think that was Francesco Bagnaia there, the top Mahindra in the field. But yeah, we're already up to doing better than where we were last time, and now we've got Finati down the inside. That's nice. Bit of Moto3 elbow barging, you know what it's like. Okay, I butchered that one. That's better. Last year, you can take this corner, this second to last corner, so much faster in the eye, it was ridiculous. Right, coming back towards the back of John McPhee here in 13th place. And that was about, I think, a second faster than the leaders. I'm just trying to see what I can do now here. I'm not talking very much, I don't know why. I think it's just I'm really concentrating on this one. We take McPhee. Go around the outside of Binder and Bastianini, not quite. Using that slipstream though, which is such a powerful thing in Moto3 normally. For some reason though, it isn't in this game. Like, the slipstream does not really have a major effect in this game, even though it probably should. Like, in Moto3, there's so many races where the slipstream has such an enormous effect on pack racing that... God, whoa. Took way too wide a line there, tried to cut it in and it just didn't quite work. He makes out the Locatelli crash even though I used the rewind. Whoa! Got away with that. Into 10th. Oh, Locatelli's gone for real this time. Oh dear. Don't touch me, bro! Again, we're kind of on the leader's pace. Kitten sets at 48.8. I set a 49.0, which is only 0.2 behind, so that's a good sign. We're in the top 10. So let's see if we can really get up there. Niccolo Antonelli next up. He's been a solid runner in Moto3 this season, if it weren't for the fact he keeps crashing it half the time. I'm hoping for a crash up front, to be honest. Oh, took that corner good. That was a good corner. Almost lost it there. We're gaining on this second pack here. Can I dive it down the inside? I don't think so. Or can I? Hang on, I've got a good run out of the corner. Ah, come on! See, the slipstream effect's not strong enough in this game. That's the only thing that's annoying in Moto3, and I'm only saying that for my own selfish gain, but nearly had 6th, finished in 9th. That's not too bad. Did somebody get a penalty? Because I think I was in 10th. Or past Locatelli, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Antonelli that crashed it. Yeah, so he came 10th. So in 9th place, Danny Kent actually gets a clear win for once. He's been deserving of that for quite some time. Jorge Navarro 2nd, Miguel Oliveira 3rd. A split between Isaac Vinales and Fabio Quartararo in 4th and 5th. Vasquez, Haneker, Masbout, me. Oh, if I had one more lap to play with, that last lap felt really good though, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, I've actually dropped another place. I'm now down to 9th in the championship for that 9th place finish. But I'm doing the best I can on this Mahindra right now. And that was a pretty good race. Because you've got to remember, Here's one of the shorter tracks on the calendar as well. So you're limited on time. I mean, if I was doing like 25% distance races and I was doing 5 laps instead, maybe it would have turned out a bit better. But then again, the videos would also be longer. So do you guys want 25% distance? I don't mind doing it if that's what you guys want to see. So I'll leave it to you guys. Do you want to see more than 3 lap races? I don't mind upping it to 25% if it came down to it. It would probably make the videos maybe 5 or 6 minutes longer. So maybe 35-minute vids instead of maybe 25 to 30. We might be talking 30 to 35, maybe 40 minutes if there's a testing session thrown in. So let me know what you guys think. I'm keen to hear your feedback. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 3 of our MotoGP 15 Dre Plays. Plenty more to come, probably tomorrow more than likely, because this week of continues. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it very much. And again, like I said, let me know your feedback. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Oh, Marquez finally won another race. Good for him. So yeah, until next time, I've been Harrison101. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Sayonara.